Discover the incredible power of a clear goal, 7 secrets that will transform your mind forever. Clara woke up every morning to the sound of roosters crowing, the rising sun spilling golden light over Maplewood's quiet streets. For her, each day was a fresh chapter of grit and determination, but today felt different. Could it be the spark of something more? As she poured over her breakfast coffee, a flyer tucked beneath the morning paper caught her eye. Entrepreneurship program led by Mayor Jenkins, transform your dreams into reality. The words electrified her heart. Just when hope seemed as distant as the skyline, here was a whisper of possibility. As a single mom juggling shifts at the diner and cleaning houses, Clara lived in the waves of exhaustion but also the warmth of community life. Friends at the diner exchanged knowing smiles that said, "We're in this together," but deep down, she felt a weight of solitude. Jason and Lily were growing, and Clara's struggles were no longer just her own, they were becoming the fabric of her children's lives. Would this program offer the chance to break away? With trembling hands, she shared the exciting news over dinner, her heart pounding with anticipation. But instead of the encouragement she hoped for, Jason frowned, his teenage angst written all over his face. "Mom, do you really think you can do that? What if you're too busy?" Lily's eyes filled with worry, and Clara felt as if the air had been sucked out of the room. Tension crackled like static electricity. Clara's heart sank as she watched the fear in their eyes. Was she risking their bond for a dream? The laughter and warmth that usually filled their home turned into quiet unease. But as they argued late into the night, Clara felt a fire in her chest. She was more than just a mom. Flashes of her mother baking in their tiny kitchen, flower dancing in the air, filled her mind. If only she could recreate that magic. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The first meeting of the entrepreneurship program arrived like a beacon of hope on the horizon. Clara stepped into the community center, her palms sweaty with nervousness. Mayor Jenkins, kind but powerful in his unwavering belief in the town, welcomed everyone with a heartfelt speech about dreams and possibilities. Clara's pulse raced. This was where she was meant to be. She opened her mouth, her vision bubbling forth. "I want to open a bakery, a place filled with laughter, homemade bread, and community spirit like my mom used to make." The crowd erupted in idea-swapping excitement, but there, sitting near the back, Jason and Lily glared at her, their expressions laced with concern. As mingled conversations and laughter echoed around her, Clara felt a rock drop into her stomach. Did they truly think she could walk this path without stumbling? The atmosphere was buzzing with support, yet her children's disappointment was like a shadow clinging to her heels. Could her dream bring together their family or force them apart? That night, as they sat on the couch in uneasy silence, Clara knew something had to change. She had to find a way to pursue her goals while keeping her family whole. Their bond was precious, but would it survive the winds of change? The path ahead was obscured, leaving her standing at a crossroads where dreams and family expectations collided. What would she choose? The night grew heavier with questions, and the whisper of possibility hovered just out of reach. Clara woke the next morning with the tangled thoughts from last night still swirling in her mind. The community center's walls and buzzing energy felt like a dream now, but the reality was staring right at her. Jason and Lily weren't just concerned, they were frightened. Could she blame them? With each sip of coffee, Clara wrestled with her emotions. She looked out the kitchen window, watching the neighbor's kids play in the crisp morning air. Their carefree laughter felt like sunshine breaking through her cloud. What if she could create that same joy, not only for her but for her children too? Maybe this bakery could be a place where they could share memories, just like her mother did with her. She decided right then to talk to Jason and Lily again. Maybe she hadn't made herself clear. The bakery wasn't just about her. It was about them, about building something together: community, love, warmth. They needed this, even if it didn't look perfect. When she gathered them at breakfast, Clara took a deep breath and launched in, her voice shaking but determined. I know you both have worries. I get it. I'm scared too. But this bakery can be a family project, something we build together. I want it to be a source of comfort, just like Mom's kitchen was for us. Jason looked up from his plate, his youthful skepticism softening slightly. But what if it doesn't work out? What if it takes too much time? Clara leaned closer, her hands clasped around her coffee mug. What if it does work out? What if we make something amazing together? The baking classes I'll take and the skills I'll learn. I want to share them with you. Lily, who had been fiddling with her cereal, now looked up, her eyes brightening. Can we have cookies? You always make the best chocolate chip ones. Clara couldn't help but smile at the light in her daughter's eyes. What if we make a whole range of goodies? We can experiment together. You both can help design the menu, and maybe even name the bakery. Jason's defenses slowly melted, revealing his curiosity. There was still a hint of resistance in his brow, but Clara could see interest beginning to spark. Okay, but if it doesn't work, we'll have to talk about it, right? Absolutely, Clara promised. The tension in the room eased, revealing a space where hope could grow. That week after work, Clara immersed herself in the program. Ideas flowed with her coffee, and every session inspired her more. She learned about business plans, pricing, and marketing, and her notebook filled with sketches and thoughts. Yet, every night would end with her checking in with Jason and Lily. Picking out recipes, discussing what their menu could include, even researching local ingredients. It all felt like they were building a small world of their own, but just as Clara was starting to feel her confidence blossom, doubts crept back in. She noticed Jason taking on more of the burden, secretly trying to step up as the responsible son. But why should he need to carry anything? That's when she realized she had to make sure they were all in this together, not just her driving forward. One night, as they sat around the kitchen table, tired but filled with laughter, Clara felt a wave of warmth crash over her. They were not just balancing dreams and duties, they were weaving their lives together like a carefully crafted tapestry. But she sensed a looming uncertainty hanging over her son. What would happen when things got tough? As the days went by, she made plans for the grand reveal of their bakery concept, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper lay ahead. Would they all stand together when the hard times hit? The thought nagged at her, setting the stage for a storm she couldn't see coming. And what would that storm reveal about their family? Clara knew her dream had ignited hope, but would it also uncover fears they had kept hidden? Clara woke the next day feeling the weight of her aspirations collide with the unease lurking in the corners of her mind. After breakfast, she gathered Jason and Lily again, this time with a clear mission in her heart. They couldn't just talk about dreams, they needed a tangible plan. This moment could lay the foundation for everything to come, and she felt the urgency pressing down on her. Okay, she said, gathering their attention after the last bite of toast had been chewed. Let's sit down and write out our ideas. We need to nail down what our bakery will mean for us, and what we want it to offer the community. Jason shrugged but picked up a pencil, while Lily was clearly excited, bouncing in her seat. Clara felt a spark ignite in the dim glow of the kitchen. They started brainstorming, each suggestion painting a clearer picture of their future. What if we have days dedicated to different treats? Clara suggested. Like Cupcake Tuesdays? Or a family bake-off Sunday? Lily's eyes widened. Can we have a mystery flavor week? That could be fun. Sure, Jason added, gradually warming to the discussion. I think we should also have a Mother's recipe day, 2 things from Grandma's collection. His voice trailed off, and Clara saw a flicker of emotion in his expression. Memories swirled around them like warm clouds. As they continued to fill pages with ideas, laughter and warmth filled the kitchen, the shadows of doubt easing, if only for the moment. Yet, beneath this joyful atmosphere, Clara sensed the uncertainty lingering in Jason. Would he truly connect with the project, or was he merely pulling himself into the tide of her dreams? Later that evening, after they cooked dinner together, Clara watched as Jason busied himself with his homework. He pushed his assignments around as if they were rocks in a stream, trying to avoid the natural current tugging him away. A knot tightened in her stomach. She could see that while they were growing closer, he still felt the weight of responsibility pressing heavily upon his young shoulders. A part of her wanted to pull him closer, shield him from the potential disappointments that could rise with entrepreneurial dreams. "We'll take it one step at a time," she considered aloud, but Jason was absorbed in his work, glancing up only briefly. After sending Lily off to bed, Clara decided to sit beside him. "You know, there's no pressure," she said softly, her hand gently on his shoulder. "This isn't just for me. It's for us. We're in this together. If you ever feel it's becoming too much, just speak up." Jason finally met her gaze. "I know, Mom, but what if we fail?" Her heart sank at that question. "What if we don't?" "Jason, it's more than baking. It's about being together, creating something that reminds us of family and love." He hesitated before nodding slowly, but she could see the uncertainty still shadowing his expression. They were stepping into the unknown together, yet he carried fears that might unravel their bond instead of knitting it closer. The next morning arrived with the sun glowing bright and vibrant, but Clara couldn't shake the unease. As she prepared coffee and stood in her kitchen, a sudden thought filled her mind: what would happen if they faced their biggest fear head-on? And that's when a new idea started to take root: a way to involve their community, to show Jason and Lily that they were not alone in this journey. But would they be brave enough to let go of their deeper fears and ask for help, or would they retreat back into their individual worries? The answer felt monumental, loomed large in front of her, waiting to be unveiled. Clara stood in the kitchen, the warm aroma of coffee swirling around her like a comforting hug. The sun poured through the window, illuminating the clutter of the table, where their plans for the bakery lay scattered like confetti. It was time to take that leap she had been contemplating. A community event could transform their dreams into something tangible, something larger than just the three of them. She took a deep breath, feeling both exhilaration and fear mix in her stomach. "What if we hold a community baking day?" she thought aloud. "A chance for everyone to come together, share their recipes, and learn how to bake. It could be like a festival." Lily, already buzzing with enthusiasm, jumped off her chair. "Can we have games too? Like the flower toss or cookie decorating contests? I want to see everyone's cookies." Clara chuckled at her daughter's infectious excitement. "Absolutely. We can make it a wonderful day filled with laughter, food, and friends." Jason looked up from his homework, his brow knitted. "But what if people don't show up? What if it flops?" Clara saw the caution in his eyes, the remnants of doubt still tethering him to uncertainty. "That's the risk we take," she replied gently. "But even if just a few people come, we'll have created something special. It's about building connections and finding joy in the process." Jason frowned, still grappling with the unknown. Clara remembered her own fears of failure. "How about we start small?" she proposed. "Let's toss around some ideas for outreach. We can make posters and talk to local shops. This will be our first community initiative." His gaze softened as he mulled it over. "We could share it on social media, too. Mom, I think people will be excited about it." They spent the rest of the morning pouring their hearts into the festival plan, sketching out ideas and dreaming big. Laughter bubbled between them, the earlier tension melting under the warm morning light. Clara could see that Jason slowly found his footing. Even if apprehension still lurked, the clarity of their shared goal began to overshadow the shadows. As the days passed, they rallied together, crafting flyers, painting signs, and spreading the word. Clara felt the buzz of excitement spark with each conversation, but a small voice inside her nagged at her. What if they encountered obstacles they couldn't overcome? What if the community didn't embrace their idea? Then came the day of the event. Clara woke to gray skies, a dull drizzle softening the sun's brightness. She watched the rain flow down the window, feeling a pit of dread swirl in her stomach. Fears rushed in like a tide. What if no one came? Yet there it was again, that sliver of hope cutting through. She knew she had to push through. This was a moment for her family, and it could be for their community, too. They had put their hearts into this, and there was beauty in that. Come what may. As they arrived at the park, Clara's heart raced with every step. People were already gathering, a mix of families and friends, all with hope written across their faces. Yet, she still held her breath, waiting in anticipation. Then she noticed Jason standing tall beside her, a shy smile spreading across his face as he spotted their neighbors approaching. His gaze met Clara's, and something shifted. Perhaps they were not alone as they had feared. What blossoming connections awaited them, and as the first few families stepped forward, Clara realized she was about to discover something incredible about community, connection, and the courage to dream. But just then, a rumble of thunder echoed overhead, and Clara's heart sank as she glanced upwards. Would their day go on despite the storm? The thunder rolled again, loud and looming, breaking through the nervous chatter of the crowd. Clara's heart raced. She glanced at Jason and Lily, who looked both excited and anxious. The energy around them buzzed, but uncertainty weighed heavily in the air. Would they find joy even under these threatening clouds? As the first drops hit the ground, a few brave souls pushed their way through the drizzle, clutching umbrellas and raincoats. "Hey, is this where the baking day is?" An elderly man with a weathered face called out, lifting his umbrella in greeting. "Yes." Clara replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Welcome. We're just about to get started." Lily dashed to the activities table, eager to set up the games. "We have cookie decorating," she shouted. "And a flower toss. You'll see, it'll be so much fun." She was a ray of sunshine amidst the gray skies, and even Clara threatened to smile at her enthusiasm. With a nudge of determination, Clara approached the nearby gazebo, where they had set up their main table. She started organizing the ingredients they had prepped: flour, sugar, sprinkles, arranging everything as the light rain started to pour more seriously. "Come join us," she called to the gathering crowd. Some of them stepped closer, pulled by the enticing smell of baked goods and the warmth of her invitation. Another clap of thunder rumbled in the distance, yet Clara felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Moments later, more families came, huddled together under umbrellas, exchanging smiles even as the rain soaked the grass around them. "It looks like it's going to be a messy day." A woman laughed, her child bouncing in excitement as she pulled off their jacket. "Yes, but that's part of the fun," Clara replied, catching the woman's gaze, feeling the sense of belonging wash over her. This was what they needed, not just an event, but connections forged through shared laughter and the shared experience of overcoming something together. Jason's earlier worries seemed to fade as he set up tables for everyone to work at. He took a deep breath and beckoned his peers to join him in mixing the dough. Clara's heart swelled as she watched her son step into his element, his caution melting away with each friendly interaction. As the rain continued to fall, something delightful began to emerge. Laughter and chatter rose above the raindrops, filling the park with warmth. Children squealed in laughter during the flower toss, while adults gathered around tables, swapping stories and recipes as they baked together. Clara couldn't believe it. The community was embracing not just her idea, but her family's spirit and passion. Every glance, every smile confirmed her belief they were onto something incredible. But as the day progressed, Clara noticed the skies giving way to more than just rain. With dark clouds rolling ominously, she could feel another storm stirring, not of weather, but of emotions. How would they finish their event if the skies turned against them for real? Just as she began to have her doubts again, a bold voice cut through the uncertainty. "Let's turn this into a rain bake-off. Who's with me?" a man called out, clapping his hands. The energy shifted, an infectious excitement born from spontaneity. Children cheered, encouraged by their parents. Clara felt the flutter of possibility flutter in her chest. Could they truly overcome this storm, not just outside, but in every way? What awaited them just beyond those dark clouds could change everything they thought they knew about community. With the sound of laughter ringing in her ears, Clara took a deep breath. Rain or shine, they had moved forward together, ready to embrace the unknown. But still, the storm loomed above, threatening moments of joy and connection. Would they hold strong, or would the clouds break their spirit? The enthusiasm in the air crackled as the bake-off took shape. Clara felt the energy surge around her, and she couldn't help but beam at the faces that had gathered. Families leaned in closer, shaking off the rain, ready to dive into this impromptu challenge. "All right, everyone. We'll set teams," Jason shouted, his voice rising above the chatter as he pulled everyone in. Clara watched as he united them, his excitement infectious. It was like he had stepped into a role he never knew he could fill, a leader amidst the chaos. "Okay, how about Team Sprinkles versus Team Chocolate?" Lily chimed in, bouncing on her toes. The kids let out a chorus of cheers, their energy igniting everyone around them. Clara felt her worries begin to fade as she joined in the fun. With a few quick assignments, teams split up. Clara watched in awe as they rushed to grab bowls and mixing spoons, laughing as they battled the elements for a slice of baking glory. The rain came down harder, but it didn't deter them. If anything, it fueled the fire of their creativity. She set her hands to work, mixing dough for cookies that would soon be dusted with colorful sprinkles. Jason flitted from table to table, encouraging shy little bakers, while Lily volunteered as the official judge, her eyes sparkling with delight. "Don't forget to add the chocolate." Clara heard one of the little girls shout, her tiny hands working vigorously to form a dough ball. The community was coming alive, everyone busy spinning their own stories as they worked side by side. Clara could feel her heart lift with each laugh and sprinkle of flour, the clouds of doubt slowly giving way to the warmth of togetherness. But just as Clara felt a moment of triumph, the skies overhead grew darker. A fork of lightning slashed through the clouds, and a collective gasp ran through the crowd. The energy changed in an instant, anticipation mingling with unease. "Let us move it," Jason shouted, rallying the teams as raindrops began to splatter more aggressively. "We need a tent. Fast." People scrambled to gather their things as the storm intensified, urgency propelling them into action. Clara's heart raced, not from fear but from the thrill of their shared mission saving their baking day. "Stay close," she yelled, her voice full of determination as she ushered children and parents under the scant shelter they had. They huddled together, laughter still bubbling as they attempted to shield their creations from the rain, each wanting to protect not just their cookies, but the memories being baked into existence. Amidst the chaos, Clara caught Jason's eye. He raised an eyebrow, a silent question hanging unvoiced between them. Would they continue? "Okay. How about we keep the bake-off going but turn it into a challenge?" Clara proposed, feeling the heat of inspiration in her chest. "Let us see who can create the best cookie in just 10 minutes. Rainy day rules." Cheerful shouts erupted in response, the storm outside their protective circle only fueling their fire. Just then, among the laughter and flurry of activity, Clara caught sight of a pair of somber eyes, a young girl clutching a half-finished cookie, looking lost amid the chaos. Clara's heart twisted. "Hey there," she crouched down, meeting the girl's gaze. "Want to be my partner?" The girl's eyes brightened a little, and she nodded slowly. Clara smiled, her heart warming. The storm raged on outside, but inside that little huddle, hope was blossoming. They were not just baking, they were building connections, weaving a tapestry of community through flour, fun, and resilience. The thunder roared overhead, but Clara sensed something deeper brewing. More than just cake and laughter, they were forging bonds that could withstand any storm. A clap of thunder echoed nearby, and Clara looked around the crowded tent, a thought sparking within her: what other struggles could they turn into joy, if only they dared to stand together, amidst the storms of life. As she began mixing ingredients for their cookies with her new young friend, Clara couldn't help but wonder, was this the moment that would change everything? Clara focused on her little partner, who was now pouring sprinkles into the mixing bowl. The girl's face was a blend of concentration and a spark of joy, reminding Clara of her younger self, filled with dreams and the sweetness of possibilities. Just a little more, Clara encouraged, grinning. Her heart pulsed with excitement, knowing they were not just creating cookies, they were creating memories. Each sprinkle was a bit of color added to their moment, a metaphor for the brighter times they were nurturing, even under the relentless rain. "Are we going to win?" the girl asked, her voice barely a whisper amid the downpour. "Winning isn't everything." Clara chuckled lightly. "It's about having fun and doing our best. And look at us. We're doing great." The little one nodded, her confidence building as they kneaded the dough together. Clara realized how vital it was to nurture not just the creation of desserts but the creativity and courage in each child. Nearby, Jason laughed as he caught a dollop of frosting in his hands, adorned with a playful smudge across his cheek. "This is why we need to challenge the rain," he shouted, rallying the others to join in. More kids stumbled over, flour on their noses, wanting to showcase their unique abilities. With Clara's encouragement drifting through the air, a spirit of competition brewed among the teams, igniting the atmosphere with cheer. Parents laughed and cheered, wiping their brows and leaning in closer to the action, forming a protective wall around the energetic exchange. As the 10 minutes ticked away, Clara felt the intensity heighten. It wasn't just about the bake-off anymore, it was a collective effort, a joyful rebellion against the storm that poured relentless drops from above. She took a breath, heart swelling with pride as she saw each child showcasing their sprinkled, chocolate-drenched masterpieces. "Time's up," Lily announced, raising her hands like a referee. The crowd hushed, anticipation bubbling over like the froth of a well-shaken soda. "Now, let us see these creative delights," Clara said, scanning the table laden with cookies. Each looked different, some were lopsided, others covered in extravagant amounts of frosting, but each one bore a story, a reason for smiles. As Clara walked around the makeshift display, she felt a sense of harmony blossom within her, as if each cookie had stitched a seam of unity tighter amongst the group. Laughter filled the tent, lifting spirits even higher. "Everyone did so well," Clara exclaimed, walking back to her young partner. "You helped make something beautiful. Look at all the colors, all the smiles." The girl beamed, pride now lighting up her small features. Just then, Clara noticed the shadows beginning to part as the rain lightened to a soft drizzle. The clouds above seemed to allow rays of sunshine to peek through, a powerful reminder of resilience against adversity. "Okay, let us give everyone a fun surprise." Jason spoke up, gathering attention as he suggested a big cookie party at the park once the storm cleared completely. A cheer went up, echoing against the scattered drops of rain. The promise of togetherness, laughter, and joy filled the air, yet, as Clara looked around, a longer thought lingered. Did this small victory in the rain mean much more? The connection formed through their shared experience was palpable. She could feel it in the air. A change was brewing, a hope rising like the sun trying to break through the clouds. Was this what it felt like to truly belong, to be part of something bigger than oneself? As they continued to chat, the uplifting energy shifted again. Clara found her gaze drifting beyond the tent, wondering if the storm had truly passed, or if there were more challenges ahead. What would happen when the clouds cleared for good? And just then, a loud clap of thunder reverberated, shaking Clara to her core. Would they be ready for whatever came next? The clamor of laughter and chatter enveloped the tent, but Clara's mind was still haunted by that echo of thunder. The children buzzed with excitement, yet she felt a knot tightening in her stomach. What if the storm had not truly passed? What if this fleeting moment of joy was just a prelude to something more challenging? She shook her head, trying to dismiss the worries that encroached. Let us stay in the moment, she whispered to herself. The colors of the cookies, the smiling faces, and the shared thrill breathed life into her resolve. She smiled and picked up a lopsided cookie, its creative charm radiating pure joy. "Oh, look at this one!" Clara called out, holding it up for the kids to see. "Who made this?" "I did," shouted a boy with messy hair and frosting on his cheeks. His face shone with a flush of pride, and Clara couldn't help but laugh. "This one has character. It's not just a cookie, it's a masterpiece." She placed it back on the table as other children rushed to showcase their own creations. Each unique cookie told a story, a testament to laughter, creativity, and courage. Encouraged by Clara's enthusiasm, the kids brought out their designs for the upcoming party at the park. They spent the next few minutes brainstorming ideas, sharing wild themes and outrageous toppings that turned the bake-off into an adventure of imagination. Clara couldn't help but feel gratitude swell within her, the rain outside now just a soft background melody. "Let us put on a show," Lily shouted suddenly. "We can have a cookie parade. Everyone can showcase their cookies, and we can do funny dances." The suggestion sparked even more excitement, filling the air with possibilities. "Brilliant!" Clara agreed, her eyes dancing at the thought. She felt alive, invigorated by the collective energy. What started as a simple bake-off transformed into a way to promote joy and connection. But amid the clamor of spirited suggestions, Clara glanced outside again. The sun was breaking through the clouds, casting radiant beams on the puddles. It was beautiful, but the dark horizon still loomed in her thoughts. "Kids, can we take a quick breather?" she asked, trying to shake off her anxiety. They paused, their laughter fading slightly as they sensed her somber shift. "Let us step outside and look at that sky." They shuffled out of the tent and stood in awe, enchanted by the iridescent hues of orange and yellow. As the sun continued to push the clouds aside, Clara felt a strange mix of emotions flood her heart, hope and fear woven together. Would this clarity of weather be a metaphor for their lives too? "Clara, it's so pretty!" her little partner exclaimed, jumping up and down, her fingers pointing wildly at the dissipating storm. "It is, isn't it?" Clara breathed, but beneath the beauty, there was still a whisper of uncertainty. "Will it stay nice like this?" Jason asked, eyebrows knitted with concern, mirroring Clara's own turmoil. "I hope so," Clara replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Just as she opened her mouth to offer reassurance, another clap of thunder rumbled in the distance, this time sounding less ominous and more like a reminder. Laughter resumed as the kids began to discuss their cookie parade once more, but Clara stood still for a moment, pondering the shifting clouds. What did it really mean to march forward through the storm? The thought weighed heavily on her heart. Would they find true success in the sunshine, or were there deeper trials ahead, even in brighter days? As they started to return to their conversations, a sudden gust of wind sent Clara's hair flying back. It felt like a silent promise on the air, a new beginning stirring just beyond the horizon. "Let us make a cookie that celebrates our journey," she shouted through the lively chatter, igniting the children's imaginations once again. But beneath her excitement, she feared the hidden storms that still loomed in her heart. What awaited them next? Would they truly find light through the darkness, or would the thunder remind them of challenges still to come? The air was electric with ideas as the children huddled together, each one eager to contribute to the festivities that were blossoming in their young minds. Clara felt a warmth blooming in her chest, and yet the sense of looming uncertainty never fully dissipated. She glanced up at the sky again, hoping for clarity. "Okay, everyone. Let us form pairs and brainstorm cookie styles," Clara instructed, her voice rising above the chatter. She watched as little hands flew up into the air, forming clusters, and laughter erupted once more. To her right, Lily and Jason were animatedly discussing sprinkle options for a rainbow cookie. "No, we need unicorn sprinkles. They're magical." Lily proclaimed, her eyes practically sparkling. Magical? I like that. Jason replied, grinning. Clara found herself chuckling, wrapped up in the contagious jubilation of the moment. Soon, the kids were bouncing ideas back and forth faster than Clara could write them down. As sketches were drawn in the dirt with sticks, the festivities transformed. The real magic, she realized, was not in the cookies themselves but in the connections being forged. Laughter filled the air like summer fireflies glimmering in the twilight, but then, as if orchestrated by her very thoughts, the wind picked up again and swept through the area. The soft rustle of leaves turned into a more frantic dance, echoing the clamor in Clara's head. Was it just a breeze, or the beginning of something more troubled? "All right, let us go back inside for a moment," she called, trying to keep her voice steady, though her heart raced. The kids groaned but obeyed, finding their way back into the tent where warmth and coziness awaited them. Clara tucked a stray hair behind her ear, mouth a thin line as she tried to shake off her unease. As they settled back down with their cookie designs, she felt a kid press up against her side. It was Lily, her little elbow nudging Clara gently. "What's wrong, Clara?" she asked softly, her expression betraying a child's pure concern. Clara met her gaze and took a breath. "Just thinking a lot," she admitted. "You know, we all have our storms. Sometimes they come back after we think they've passed." Lily nodded, her face serious. "But sunshine is nice too. Look, the colors are still there in the sky." She pointed toward the split in the clouds where the sun poured in, illuminating the space around them. "Yeah," Clara said, her heart warming with the innocence of youth. "You're right, Lily. The storms don't last forever. Let us make the coolest cookie ever," Lily announced with renewed energy. "It can beat the storms." Laughter erupted once more, and Clara watched, entranced. Perhaps this moment was a reminder that amid uncertainties, the simple joys held incredible value. They were creating more than cookies, they were crafting memories. Light amidst shadows. As the children started to regroup and retell their ideas, Clara felt a sense of determination settle within her. If they could find joy and strength here, then surely she could weather her own fears. But just then, the loud clap of thunder returned, deep and resonant, catching everyone's attention. Faces turned pallid as the air shifted. It was as though the storm outside had been personified, standing right at the edge of their jubilance, daring them to keep going. Clara felt her heart race again. Would the joy they had built withstand the uncertainty? Would their cookie celebration endure despite the challenges that lay ahead? "Kids, let us make a toast," she called out unexpectedly, rising to her feet. "To courage, cookie creativity, and our special adventure." They hooted and hollered, raising their hands in a mock toast. Clara felt strength surge within her, bolstered by the unity of laughter around her, but as Clara watched the joyful chaos unfold, she couldn't help but wonder what if this was just the calm before the storm. What lay ahead, lingering just beyond the horizon, ready to challenge everything they built during this rally of creativity. The bake-off had transformed into something miraculous. Despite the thundering clouds, Clara had seen laughter splash across children's faces like the melted chocolate they were using. There was feverish activity inside the tent, a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds, as families bonded over baking flour. Clara felt warmth wrapping around her, igniting hope that had long been flickering in her heart. As the final creations were placed on the table, Clara's breath caught. Each cookie represented courage, family, and community, a testament to their effort against a storm they collectively faced. The sun peeked hesitantly through the gray clouds, casting a beautiful glow through raindrops, as if acknowledging their triumph. "Okay, team. It's time for the big reveal," Clara announced, her voice infused with excitement. "Everyone, bring your cookies to the front. Let us show off what we've made." Children rushed to exhibit their masterpieces, some wobbling slightly under the weight of their frosting-laden creations. Laughter bubbled up as they shared stories about what inspired each cookie. Clara felt a swell of pride wash over her. Jason had taken charge, organizing everyone with incredible poise. He stood close by, relaying details of each cookie with a growing sense of ownership. Here's Team Chocolate. We made sparkly chocolate chip cookies, and they're stuffed with gooey marshmallows. That's epic. One kid shouted, earning a round of applause. Clara's heart soared. For the first time, she could see Jason believing in himself, taking pride in the effort they were making together. All those late-night talks had forged determination in him, and here it was a blossoming spirit in the midst of chaos. Just then, a gust of wind swept through the tent, making it shudder. Clara's stomach clenched momentarily, and Jason's eyes flickered with uncertainty. "Mom, what if?" But before he finished, Clara stepped closer to him, her hand resting on his shoulder. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it. We've already built something amazing," she reassured, her voice steady as a heartbeat in sync with the gathering crowd. She could see Jason nod, his teenage bravado slowly melting into unveiled emotion. He was part of something much bigger now, a community rooted in shared passion and love. The doubt from before felt like distant thunder, fading with every giggle echoing around them. Suddenly, the sun burst through the clouds, bathing everything in warm light. Families erupted into cheers, joy dancing on their faces like the sunlight itself. Clara felt a lump in her throat, tears moving freely as she grasped the moment with both hands. This wasn't just some bake-off, it was the culmination of hope, resilience, and unity. "Let us celebrate!" Lily shouted, plucking a giant cookie and waving it above her head as if it were a trophy. The crowd erupted in supportive shouts, the earlier worry vanishing into delicious laughter. As they savored cookies, Clara took a moment to reflect. She had transformed her dreams into a reality while reinforcing the fabric of her family. Each bite shared was a shared experience, each giggle a declaration of victory against isolation. Here, within these vibrant hearts and little hands, lay the very essence of what they had aimed to create, a bakery and community bursting with love. The rest of the day unfolded into a joyful blur filled with playful cookie challenges, games of tag, and little hearts racing with glee. The storm clouds had passed physically and metaphorically, leaving clarity and warmth in their wake. As Clara surveyed the atmosphere of those gathered, she realized the truth: it wasn't just about a bakery or a dream. It was about family, community, and finding strength in each other. Every small victory mattered, and they had forged undeniable connections that would carry them forward. Later, amidst the laughter and sweet aromas, Clara gathered Jason and Lily. "Look what we did together," she said, her voice catching. "We transformed our fears and dreams into something real, a celebration of family." Jason's gaze softened, a flicker of understanding reflecting beneath his teenage veneer. "I get it now, Mom. This isn't just about the bakery. It's about us." Lily squeezed her brother's hand tightly, her face lit with innocent pride. "And we can do amazing things together." Clara beamed, heart soaring like a kite caught in a spring breeze. She felt the expanse of their possibilities stretch endlessly before them. "Okay," Clara said, gathering her children in for a group hug. "What's next for our bakery? Let's have more events." Jason suggested, thoughtfully. "Get the community even more involved." "Yeah. We can throw parties for every holiday." Lily added, her voice ringing with excitement. Clara knew this was only the beginning. There would be challenges ahead, moments filled with uncertainty. But if laughter could soar above thunder, if hearts could weave together against storms, then they could face anything life threw their way. She clasped their hands tightly, feeling the spark of change ripple through them. "Together, right? Forever." Jason and Lily chimed, their voices merging into a powerful promise, and with that, Clara stepped into the season of their shared journey, ready to leap forward and find the strength that blossomed in love, togetherness, and the warmth of their community behind them. Now it was their turn to rise and shine. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more dreamers. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your share means everything.